Object ribbon and 5 basic tools. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Illustrator Essential. In this lesson, we are going to be learning about the object ribbon and also the 5 next tools or the 5 basic next tools of Adobe Illustrator. So let's open up this preset or anyone you want. It's going to be up to you. I'm going to click on this one and there we go, as it is opened up. Now, the 5 tools are going to be from over here. This one, shaper tool, then our eraser tool, then we have is our rotation tool, then we have is the scale tool, and then we have our width tool. Okay, so let's start off with our object ribbon. Now in our object ribbon, first off, you're going to need an object to open up all the features or all the tools or commands about this object. Now I'm going to do is make sure to make, let's say I'm going to do is right click on it. I'm going to do is make this shape over here. And now we have our object. I'm going to do is select on it. There we go. And click on object. Now, first off, we're going to find out transform. Now you can transform again. You can see it over here. It has transformed over here, but we don't want that. I want it over here in the middle. And I'm going to go off the object, and then you'll be able to move, rotate, reflect, scale, shear, or transform each according to your need. Let's say you also have a couple of these shortcut keys. Let's say I'm going to use move it. You can move over here and you'll basically find out this over here. Press on OK and you can see how it works. Okay, so you can go through them and fiddle with these transform tools. You can rotate it if you want to. Let's say you want to rotate it, find it like this. Press on, you will get a preview. You can make another copy too. Let's say I want to copy, and you can see this is how it will work. I'm going to press on Ctrl Z so that I can undo the process. Then we have is arrange. This is the same one as copying or pasting it to back or front, but instead you can bring it to front or back at the same time without copying. Now I'm going to press on, first off, I'm going to press on Ctrl C, Ctrl V. You can see it over here. I'm going to do is press on Ctrl C and Ctrl V. I'm going to press on Ctrl V again. Now we have 3 of these boxes. Now I'm going to do is change the color of this. Let's say I'm going to click on this option, and instead I'm going to do is make it black, or let's say I'm going to change it to this color. I'm going to do is select on this path. I'm going to do is change that color too. There we go. And the last one I'm going to be doing is changing it to maybe this one. Okay, there we go. But now I want the pink one to be at the bottom. So what you're going to do is click on object, click on arrange, and send to back. Okay, send to back or backward. You can see backward. When you take it over here, you will basically see that it is now overlaying this one. So the difference of sending it to backward or sending it to back has a difference. Okay, so if you send it to back or backward, it will take it back one layer. But if you send it all the way back, you will basically find out it will go all the way back, not even on any of these layers. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to do is take it over here. You can see how it works. Now if I want to send it all the way backward, okay, now I'm going to do select on this. Okay, let me just show it to you. I'm going to send it back or send it front once and then send it all the way front at the same time. Bring forward. And you can see I'm going to click on object again, click on arrange, bring forward. You can see now it is backed or came forward one step. I'm going to press on Ctrl Z again. But if I select on object and click on bring front, it will come back at the front, overlaying both of these objects. Okay, so now you know how this works. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Click on object, arrange, bring to front. Okay, they also have these shortcut keys. You can use them whenever you want. Now the next option which we have over here in object ribbon is going to be align. Now if you want to align your object, let's say I'm going to use a horizontal align left. You can do the same thing on all of them. Click on object. I'm going to do is click on align. I'm going to use align left. And if you want it align center, you can also do that. Center align. You can also go off to object, go off to align, and vertical align top. You can see all of them are now underneath it. Now I'm going to click on object. I'm going to do is find out on align, and you can also vertical align bottom. Now you'll basically find out to be something like this, but only one of them is selected. So this is how it will look like. Press on Ctrl Z for a couple of times so that you can get the result of how it was. Now you can take them to be at the center, and there we go. We have it. Okay. So we are done with this align option. Now go off the object again, and then we have is group. If you want to group all of them up, first off select all the subject or object which you want to group up. Now you can press on Ctrl G, or you can go off the object and then group all of them up. Now if you just take one of them, it will be selected all together, and you'll basically find it out that all of them are now grouped. Okay, so now you know how this function works, or how this command works in Adobe Illustrator. Select on the object again. Now one thing is that even if you grouped it up, if you double click on a specific object, you'll find out the specific object over here. But still, if you get out of these, I'm gonna just go over here. Now you'll basically find out that this is how it works. I'm gonna go back again, and now you have to use all of them back again until you ungroup them. Now if you press on Ctrl G again, it will be ungrouped, so you don't have to worry about it. So first off, you have to select on it, go off the object, and you'll also find out this ungroup, which is Shift Control and G. You can press on it and it will be ungrouped on how it was. You can see how it works. Then I'm gonna go off the object again, and then we have is lock. If you want to lock the selection or all the artworks, you can also do that. When you lock up any object or all the artwork or other layers, you won't be able to work on those. So make sure to lock it up, or let's say if you don't want to work on it, or if you don't want any customizations on it, first off make sure to lock it up and make another layer, and then you will basically be able to work with it without losing any changes or without losing any progress or doing any mistakes on that specific layer. Then we have is this unlock option. If you lock anything, or if you lock any object or layer, you can unlock it by clicking on unlock all on Alt Control and 2. Then we have is hide. You can hide out specific selection or artworks or above, or even layers if you want to. And I can also show all the layers if you have hidden any object from your workspace. Then we have is expand. When you click on expand, it will show you an expand option over here, what type of fill you want. If you want any fill, you can also deselect it. You can also deselect this stroke. You want only the object, press on OK, and you'll basically find out no fill, no object, no outline. Okay, so this is going to be up to you how you're going to work with it, but make sure when you are using this object ribbon, make sure to select any object before. Now you have this rasterize option. So what the rasterize option is, or let's say why the rasterize option is used, is because you are going to rasterize the effect for later purpose. And what are the advantages of using a rasterized image or maybe a rasterized object? So basically the rasterize is necessary when you want to display or print a vector-based image on a device or medium that only supports raster graphics. This conversion ensures that the image appears correctly with all its details and effect and doesn't lose any resolution. Okay, so you can rasterize it if you want to. So basically in computer graphics, rasterization is the task of taking an image described in a vector graphic format, shapes, and converting it into a raster image. A series of pixels, dots, lines, which when displayed together creates the image which was represented via your screen or via any of the software. So you can use it if you don't want to lose any effect. Let's say you are working on Adobe Illustrator 2023 right now, but you want to take all the color features and all the effects directly into a really old version of Adobe Illustrator. Obviously it's not going to work, but if you rasterize it and turn it into an image format or a shape format, it will support there, and you can represent it on an older version too. So you can rasterize it whenever you want. Okay, so make sure to rasterize it according to your need. Now you can see this, we have this option over here. You can also fix the text if you want to. You can see it over here. Double click to convert to area text. We have this text over here, but I'm not going to be using it. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to press on Ctrl Z, and there we go. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is press on object, select on the object first, click on object, and then we have is create gradient mesh. You can also create your gradient mesh if you want to. You can see it over here. Now press on OK, and then you'll be able to fix out the gradient according to your mesh. Obviously, you'll be able to change it wherever you want and also paste it wherever you want. You find the edge of each and every one of them, and you'll be able to apply in the gradient according to your need. So now you know how you'll be able to apply in a gradient mesh. Now the next thing we're going to do is going to be flatten the transparency. You can do that. You can also flatten the transparency if you want to. Let's say I'm going to do is keep it over here. You can go through these options and fiddle with them so that you can see how it works, how it functions, and what are the differences. You can see that there are a couple of criterias and couple of checkboxes. You can see convert all text to outlines. You can do that. You can convert all strokes to outlines, clip complex regions, and also anti-aliased rasters. And after you're done, just press on OK, and then you're good to go. See how it works? You can press on this over here. I'm going to press on object, and then you'll be able to create object mosaic if you want to. But obviously, I'm going to skip it because this is not going to work on over here. But yet you can see when I applied those effects, this has turned into something totally different, and I've rasterized the effects a bit, and this looks very smooth, okay, without any outline. So I'm going to go off the object again. I'm going to select on this object, click on object, and then you can make pixel perfect. You can make your pixel perfect by clicking on that option, and Adobe Illustrator will scan that specific object and make your object look a lot more better because it's going to fix out all the pixels. Now go off the object again, and then you can go off the slice. Just like I said, you can make slices. You can make it over here. You can release it. You can create from selection to or clip to artboard. Now I'm going to do is make the slices, and you can see you can apply, or this is one slice, this is one slice, this is one slice, this is one slice, and this is also one slice. 8 images, 8 images, 3 images, 8 images, and also 8 images, 4 of them. So you can select the slices and also print them if you want to. But as I don't use slices most of the time, well, the advantages of using slices is that it gives you a direction or a guide that what you can put inside of that, and also keep a specific section for each and every element or object which you are trying to put in a specific slice. Okay, click on object again, and then you can go off to create trim marks. You can trim your marks if you want to. You can see it like this. You can trim the marks, and you can also see how it works. Now you can see, you will be able to see it. You can trim it from over here, and this is the anchor, and this is the path of each and every one of them. Okay, it's going to be up to you, but if you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but it just helps you sometimes to guide it up. And even if you have, let's say, a totally perfect circle or maybe a rectangle, now you want the outer grid where you want to put another circle so that you can see the grid and also make it perfect, well, that option is used. Now I'm going to go off the object again. Then we have is path. Now you can fix up path, you can join, you can average, outline, stroke, offset path, reverse the path direction, simplify, add anchor points, remove the anchor points, divide the object below, and split into grid. Let me just show you a couple of them, and after I show you a couple of them, you will basically know how it works. Now if you want to join any path, you'll basically find out over here, press on OK, and as this is not an open path, this is an open path, you'll be able to fix out the path and join the path if you want to. You can see it over here, the edge, and this is the path over here, the edges and the paths. Okay, now you can select on this, and this is the path. You can join them up if you want to with another object. Now there are a couple of other things too. You can average the path if you want vertical or horizontal. Well, you can, let's say I'm going to only use the vertical. Now you can see the path is only vertical. But if you use horizontal, it's only going to be horizontal and make a path for you, but not any shape. I'm going to press on object again, and the last one which I'm going to use is outline the stroke. Now you can see the stroke outline has turned into a path, which is totally not the shape. You can select on this. Basically now it is a shape, but you can only see the, let's say the outline. You can see the path over here. Now if you want to increase the size, if you want to, you can do that, but I'm going to do is keep it just the way it is. Okay, so now you basically know how you'll be able to use this section of path option. Now if you want to convert or let's say customize your shapes, we have this shape option. You can convert a shape or expand the shape. Now one thing is that why is it there of converting into shape when I'm using a shape? Well, this works most of the time when you are using a photo and you want to turn it into a shape. Now what I'm going to do is turn all of these together into a shape. I'm going to click on object, click on shape, and I'm going to just convert to a shape. 6 out of 9 have turned or not into a shape. I'm going to click on this option. You can see it over here. But if I have only the shapes, you'll basically find out that it will turn, or it has already turned into a shape. Okay, then you will not be able to select them individually because it has turned into one shape at a time. Okay, I'm going to just click on this object over here, click on object, and you have this shape option, and you can also expand the shape if you want to. Click on expand and another pop-up will appear up. You'll be able to expand it whenever you want and then make it however you want and according to your desire. Then you can make patterns. You can tile the edge color too. If you want to make a pattern, click on it and press on OK, and then you'll basically find out this is how it will look like. And the pattern is basically the one that you have selected, and that is going to be the same one which is going to continue up. It's most of the time used when you are making a pattern on your background, or maybe filling up a specific object, or a specific section. And sometimes it does kind of look good. You can put in a couple of logo icon and use the same thing as a pattern. It helps you to make a pattern according to your need. Okay, then we're gonna go off the object again. Then we have is repeat. Now if you want to repeat the same thing as radio, grid, and mirror, all of them, you can go through this repeat. Now if you want a radial repeat, you can click on it and you can see that it has turned into something like this. It also allows you to make very good looking shapes whenever you want. If you don't want it, press on Control Z and then we're good to go. Now if you want, obviously, if you want to repeat it, like let's say I'm going to go off the repeat and you want grid, and it will be into grid. Okay, so it's going to be up to you. Make sure to use whichever one you want, Control Shift and Z, so that you can undo the process. I'm going to go off to edit. I'm going to do undo cut, and there we go. We have it. Okay, then I'm going to go off the object again after selecting a specific object. Now, there is also, when you click on object, the next option we're going to learn about is going to be our blend. You can make the blend if you want to. You can also have this blend option, which you will find out. You can make blend by clicking on this option, and you will be able to blend the color according to your need. What I'm going to do is click on object again and go to the next one. Then you have this envelope distort. I'm not giving you like a full on review or a full on, let's say, how this works, because later on, after we are done with the ribbons, I'm going to be showing you a couple more things about how you'll be able to customize your objects and also make a professional, let's say, start off making designs and all of those. So the next one we have is going to be our envelope distort. You can make warp if you want to. You can see how this works. You can change it from over here instead of going through the other tools. Now if you want arc, select on arc. If you want lower arc, you can also see that there are upper arc. Then there we have is arch. Then we have is bulge, and all of them. You can also see fisheye. It's going to be up to you how you're going to work with it. We have also shell lower and a couple of them. Now you can fix out how you want the horizontal, how you want the vertical. It's going to be up to you how you're going to work with it. Okay. After you're done, just press on OK, and you can also fix the bend of how you want the bend to be, and then just press on OK. And basically you will also see the path on how it is working. And if you don't want any of those, just make sure to keep it over here. Make sure to keep it on 0, and there we go. We have it. And I'm going to use just keep it the bend, or maybe something around over here. And you can also fix out if you want vertical or horizontal, and you can use whichever one you want. So I'm going to do is use the arch lower. I'm going to press on OK. See, you'll be able to make customizations on this one too. You can go off the object again, and then we have is perspective. Envelope distort, you can also reset with mesh if you want to. Press on OK, and then you're good to go. You can reset it if you want to. Well, you can see that I don't have much of them, so it's basically the same. But if you're using a lot more, you'll basically find out that it will turn back to how it was. Now we have perspective. Well, this most of the time works when you are working with a photo. Okay, so you can fix the perspective if you change the perspective, and then if you want to revert it back or maybe change it, you can use this perspective option, and then it will revert back or change the perspective of how it looks like. Then we have is live paint. You can gap option, you can make it if you want to. You have this expand. I'm going to select on the next object, click on object this time, and I'm going to do is go off the live paint, and you can make them. You can see how it works. You can see this over here edges, and you'll be able to change the color according to your need and also apply them how you want them to look like. Okay, so it's going to be up to you how you're going to work with it. So I'm going to leave it up to you. You can fiddle with it. Okay, so you can see how it works. The next option which we have over here is going to be the image trace. Well, the image trace basically works on, sometimes on clips or photos, how it's moving, or a specific, let's say a trait which you want to trace. Well, if you've used or ever used, let's say, Premiere Pro, so you'll basically see how the image tracing works. Well, it just basically finds out a specific, let's say trait or specific, pattern of your photo, and then applies it or whatever customization you want to do with it. So I'm going to go off the object again, as we don't have images, or as we're not going to make image trace right now, so I'm going to keep it. Then we have is text wrap. Okay, if you want to wrap up any text, you can make it like this, and you can see that outside of this outline we have this small stroke where we can apply our text, and those texts will be applied over there instead of the path. Okay, so this is basically how it works. Then we have is clipping mask. Well, I'm going to be showing you how you can make a clipping mask on Adobe Illustrator later on. You can make it like this, and you can mock up specific object on specific objects. Okay, I'm going to go off the objects again. I'm going to do is find out compound path. I'm going to do is press on make, and you can make out compound. Okay, I'm going to do is make another shape over here. I'm going to do is go off the object, and when you go off the compound path, you can make compound path however you want. Okay, let's say I'm going to do is make a compound path over here. This is going to be my compound path. Okay, I'm going to select on this, click on object. I'm going to do is make on compound, make, and there we go. It has been already made. Then I'm going to do is go off the object again, and in our object, the next one which we have is artboard. You can convert an object into an artboard. You can see now this one that are not clipping mask. To create artboard, select non-rotated rectangle. So first off, if you have to select something and then rasterize that effect, and then it will turn into an artboard. So I'm going to do is click on object, then you can rasterize it. Press on rasterize. It will take a bit of time to rasterize that effect, and after that has been rasterized, what you can do is turn it into an artboard. Click on object, then you can do is go off the artboard and convert them into an artboard if it is not rotatable. But if it is rotatable, it will not work. You can see that this specific object has turned into an image. When you double click on it, you can see this is now turned as an image. Okay, so that you can apply it wherever you want. Even though you can see how it is an image, because you can see the outlines, there is this shape over here which is white, but as we don't want white, but we cannot do anything because this has turned into a shape, or let's say an image, not a shape. Okay, so this is basically how it works. Now you can go off the object again, and the last one we have is graph. You can apply whichever type of graph or chart according to your need. Now you can click on type, and you'll be able to put in your data, and it will make your chart or the graph type you want. Okay, now if you want, let's say, graph option like this, or maybe stacked columns, bars, stacked bars, lines, areas, maybe pie, or even scatter, or even radar, it's going to be up to you. Put in your own data, and then you'll basically find out your chart or the graph which you want to apply will appear on your screen on your workspace. So this is basically how it works. I'm going to remove all of them, do is press on delete, and you can see this is now totally clean. Now you can see collect for export. You can collect specific object for export too. So you can select them and then collect them for export for later purpose, or you can do it whenever you want. So we are done with this object ribbon in Adobe Illustrator. Now the things which you're going to learn about is going to be the 5 tools. Now as we were done with this blob brush tool, the next 5 is going to be the shaper tool, eraser tool, rotation tool. Then we have a scale tool, and also about width tool. Now let's start off with our shaper tool. Now if you want to shape any object, you can do that. You can see now, even though I put it like this, I'm going to just take it like this. You can see this has turned out to be like this. You can see now circle. Now if I keep it like this, it will turn into a circle. See? Now if I take it like this, you can see how it works. It just has to, take out. I'm going to just make sure to try a triangle. You can see now triangle has been made. If I try making a rectangle, it will make up a rectangle. See? This is how it works. If I try to make a star, it will turn it into a star. Let me just show it to you. Okay, I'm going to just take it. Over here. because sometimes it doesn't show up. So you can just make another like whichever shape you want, and it will appear just the way it is. You can see it like this. See how it works? So basically this helps you a lot of time because you can like have some fun too. Then we have is our pencil tool. You'll be able to make a pencil line, and one thing about this pencil line is that you have these anchor points. You can change it whenever you want. Okay, then we have a smooth tool. You can smoothen up any object. You can smoothen up how it works. You can see how it works. You can see now it is a lot smoother. Now if I do the same thing over here, nothing will change because it is now like this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is click on this tool, pencil tool again. Just keep it like this. Now if I use the smooth tool, if I click on these objects over here, you basically find out it will be a lot more smoother. Okay, then the next one which we have is the path eraser tool. You can remove paths like this. You can see the path is removed. Remove this one. You can see your path removed. Removed. There we go. Select on any of the path. Remove. There we go. This is how it works. The next one is join tool. You can join up specific, pencil lines if you want to. What I'm going to do is go over here, pencil tool. There we go. Then I'm going to do is remove a couple of them. Path eraser. You can see. Then if I use this join tool, I'll be able to join them up. Okay. Press on Control Z. And do is join them up. It has been joined. Okay. Then we have a couple of also other options over here. You can take it outside if you want to, but I'm going to do is keep it just the way it is, wherever it is. Then we have is our eraser tool. You'll be able to erase any object like this, and you can see the segments of each and every one and how the stroke is working. And why is it working? Because now it's not basically an actual shape. I'm basically using an actual, let's say I made this as, with the pen. So this is how it works, and it is also showing me the outlines. But if you are basically using a shape, it will not work. The whole shape will be removed at the same time. Now, as we have our eraser, we also have our scissor tool. You'll be able to put an intersect on a specific object. You can see it over here, and you can find out a specific anchor point, even though these are not shapes. Let me just try making a shape, and then I'm going to do is click on the scissor tool, and you can cut out a specific object. You can see, please use the scissor tool on a segment or an anchor point, but not on an end point. You can see, find out the anchor point. Now you have to find out anchor. See, find out the segment in between them, and then you have to cut it out. Then we have this knife tool. You can also cut out specific parts like this. You can see, I've put in a couple of segments in the middle, and this is how basically it will work. You can see I will be able to make more cuts on it, and this is basically how it will work. Okay, then we have is our rotation tool. If you want to rotate any object, just select on the object, and then you'll be able to rotate it. Control T, and you will be able to select on that object, and then you are going to rotate it however you want. Okay, now let's say I'm going to do is make a shape first. After I select on the shape, I'm going to click on rotate tool, select on this inside, and you will be able to rotate it however you want just by dragging your mouse. Then we have is this reflect tool. You can also make it reflect if there's another object. Let's say I'm going to do is make sure to click on, let's say I'm going to do is make so let's say star tool. Just make this one over here. I'm going to do is make it reflect, or I'm going to do is click on this option over here, reflect tool. You can reflect it totally. Okay, it might seem like it is now rotating, but it actually is not. It's just totally rotating up. So this is basically how this one works. Okay, you will be able to rotate it too if you want to. See over here. Okay, then we have is this extender tool, or what this is called. Now you can extend a specific object. You can see it over here, which is the scale tool. You'll be able to scale up objects if you want to. Let's say I'm going to use select on this object over here, select on this, and you'll be able to increase the size according to your need. You can see the size of the star is increasing. Press on Control Z. I'm going to do select on this path right now, this time. I'm going to do is increase the size if you have it selected, Control T. I'm going to do is make another shape. Click on this option over here, and I'm going to click on this scale tool, and you'll be able to resize it however you want just by clicking wherever you want to. Okay, this is how it works. You'll be able to make it small or big according to your need. Then we have a shear tool. You'll be able to shear up objects like this, change the perspective of how it is. You can see the degrees. Okay, so this is basically how it works. Then we have is this reshape tool. You'll be able to reshape any object if you want to. Let's say I'm going to do is change this into somewhere over here. You can change it according to your need. Okay, you'll be able to shape it up, change the position, and also make changes on how it actually looks like. Then the tool which we're going to use is going to be our width tool. If you want to fix the width, just click on this option, and then you have to fix in the width just like this, and there we go, we have it. Okay, you can fix the width. And the next one we're going to do is use the warp tool. If you want to put up a warp, you can use this, and you can see there is a warp. Then the couple of tools which are over here, right click on it. Then we can also twirl it up if you want to. You can see it is now twirling. We can also use it over here if those are shapes basically. If it's not shapes, it's not going to work. What I'm going to do is use the pucker tool. You can use it too if you want to. You can see I can pucker up specific object or specific parts. Then we're going to use this bloat tool. You can also bloat it up if you want to. You can see it is now bloated, totally bloated actually. See? Then the next one which we have is going to be our scallop tool. Well, we'll be able to apply in scallops if you want to. Then the next one is crystallize. You can apply in crystallize effect like this. And the last one we have is wrinkle tool. You can apply in a bit of wrinkle if you want to. So this is basically all of the tools which you have to learn about are the 5 basic tools and also about our object ribbon. So in this lesson, if you didn't understand a part or if you have any question, feel free to ask me and I will guide you through the whole process. And I hope you understood everything from the beginning to the end. And I'm going to suggest you that you should not skip any part while you're watching these videos so that you don't miss out on anything which you have to learn. So let's move on to our next lesson where we're going to learn about the type ribbon and also our next 5 basic tools of Adobe Illustrator, which are going to be free transform tool. Then we have is our shape builder tool. Then we have perspective grid tool. Then we have mesh tool and also our gradient tool. So let's move on to that lesson.